Every year, Baker McKenzie recruits 33 of the best fresh lawyers as trainees. But what can you do to ensure you're one of the 33 students they select on their cohort? Find out in this video. Hey everyone, I'm India from TapIn, and today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know on how to get into one of the world's leading law firms, Baker McKenzie. Before we get started, for those of you that are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to TapIn and hit that notification bell. That way, when we release new videos like these, you'll get notified. We create videos on how to get into some of the world's best companies. Remember, we do the research, you get the internship. If you're applying or have applied to Baker McKenzie or any other law firm, leave a comment down below and let us know where you're applying and drop us any questions you might have. We've timestamped every section in this video, so if you'd like to just skip to a particular section, check out the description box below. When selecting which law firm to intern or get a training contract at, you've got an abundance of fantastic choices to pick from. Baker McKenzie covers 11 overarching practice areas and was deemed the #1 law firm brand according to Acritus, a leading legal research organisation for cross-border deals over the last 10 years and #1 for deals with emerging market involvement for 13 consecutive years. The firm is also in the top 3 for numbers of lawyers ranked globally according to the Chambers and Partners, with 298 more practice rankings than any other law firm. 65% of their work involves cross-border work, where they act for clients in 5 or more countries. The firm calls themselves the new lawyers of the world and original disruptors since 1949. In 1986, they became the first global law firm with a presence in Africa, and followed this up by becoming the first global law firm to gain an operating license in China in 1993. And in 2013, they became the first international law firm to fully emerge with a leading firm in the UAE. Fun fact, a fact for your Baker McKenzie prep. Christine Lagarde was selected as the first female chair of the global law firm in 1999 at Baker McKenzie. In 2010, Eduardo Lights was elected the first Latin American chair of a global law firm, while in 2015, they decided to improve their gender disparity by setting gender diversity aspirational targets. The gender diversity aspirational targets have been set at 40 to 20% gender diversity, coinciding with 40% women, 40% men, and 20% non-binary. This target has been implemented across the whole corporation, applying to partners, senior business professionals, firm committee leadership, and candidate pools for recruitments. This target date should be fulfilled by July 1st, 2025. This is a great stat to mention at any network events with Baker McKenzie. Moreover, Baker Women is a committee of women who commit to bringing in internal and external role models and speakers to motivate women. Similarly, there's also Baker Ethnicity, aimed at making minority ethnic employees welcome. And Baker McKenzie prides itself on being in the top 10 of Stonewall's diversity rankings. The firm had a 100% retention rate for trainees last year. You have a wealth of practice areas to choose from. Baker McKenzie offered 2 years training contracts for those seeking a career with the firm while learning from their unique approach to the industry. If you want a taste of what working at the firm is like, you can also apply for one of the vacation schemes. First-year law and non-law students alike have the opportunity to see what working at Baker McKenzie is like on a 2-day insight scheme. Finally, open to all the future trainee solicitors the year before they commence their training contract, the International Vacation Scheme lets you travel to one of the international offices in New York, Budapest, Sydney, or Hong Kong for 8 to 12 weeks. If you're qualified and lucky enough to get onto one of their schemes, the pay you will receive from Baker McKenzie is incredible. On the 2-year training contract, your salary will increase after the first year from £45,000 to £49,000 per year. On the vacation scheme, you will be paid £357 per week, or around $430 US. The application process is split into 5 parts: the online application, online testing, video interview, the assessment centre, and finally, the offer. Progressing to each step is entirely dependent on how you did on the previous one. It's a great idea to get a head start on your application to make sure it's the best piece of work you submit. A good online application will guarantee that you are one of the 40% of applicants that make it past the first stage. The application opening dates for each scheme are here. Baker McKenzie's application forms are one of the shorter ones you may encounter. The application mainly centres around a covering letter outlining the reasons why you want to pursue a career in commercial law, as well as your motivations for applying to the firm. Make sure you're honest. Honesty is key when applying to the firm, especially when it comes to the interview process. The covering letter will be one of the main things they base the interview questions on. If you mention your experience with Model UN being eye-opening, you'll have to expand on this and give specific details on what you did and how you did it. On the application, you will also have to upload your CV. Firstly, make sure you're on track to achieving at least a 2-1, or unfortunately, the firm won't consider you. On your CV, you should put everything that is of relevance to the position you are applying for, or shows the sort of skills and talents you bring to the table. Mention any related work experience, such as interning at other law firms, or perhaps your experience on a law SOC committee. These should all be on there. But you should also mention things like working for a local supermarket, or perhaps any volunteering or any similar sort of experience you may have done. Top tip: attend one of the Baker McKenzie open days. Applications for these usually open on September the 1st. They are a fantastic way to learn in more detail what sort of things the recruiters are looking for when you do make the final application. Not to mention, by talking to the recruiters, they will be able to put a face to the name when they review your application. Once you've submitted your online application, it will be reviewed by recruiters at Baker McKenzie. The confirmation email will state that while they review applications on a rolling basis, they do not begin shortlist applicants until close to the deadline. So don't panic if you don't hear back for a while. You may have heard of some law firms that require you to finish online testing before you submit your online application, as they often won't read your applications if you don't meet their required benchmark. Well, Baker McKenzie takes a different approach. If your application meets their requirements, you will then be emailed 2 online tests: an online situational judgment test and an online verbal reasoning test. You will be sent the situational judgment test first, and if you meet the required benchmark, you'll proceed to the verbal reasoning test. You'll typically have 2 days to complete each test. This psychometric test is a multiple-choice test designed to evaluate your workplace decision-making and present you with a series of scenarios that you might encounter in the workplace. You'll also be given a number of possible solutions to the situation. You will then have to select the one you feel is the best description of how you would react. Although you will be timed, make sure you read the questions properly and answer these as accurately as possible. You will also be timed while completing the verbal reasoning test. The point of this test is to assess your analytical, comprehension, and grammatical skills. You will be presented with a series of statements of which you will have to answer as either being true, false, or you cannot tell. These tests are designed to test your knowledge, but more your skills and suitability to the firm and the role you're applying for. Have your analytical and logical thinking cap on when completing the test, and try not to overthink. Post succeeding past the online testing phase, you will move on to the last stage before you get invited to visit Baker McKenzie. This isn't your typical video interview where you Skype a recruiter and speak through a webcam, but one through a platform called HireVue. HireVue is a platform that most employers use to conduct their video interviews. You'll essentially be talking to a blank screen and be answering pre-recorded interview questions from Baker McKenzie. The firm are looking out for 3 things during the video interview: how well you are likely to do the job, not just whether you can do it, whether you would be motivated and energized by the job, your natural behaviors, like how you would typically respond to situations you would face in the role. Here are some examples of questions Baker McKenzie have asked during interviews before. What motivates you? Or conversely, what do you find draining or tiresome? Who do you admire the most? When do you feel the most inspired? Do you find deadlines motivating or intimidating? What would your perfect day look like? Top tip: a lot of people tend to struggle with the video interview because they find the format uncomfortable, and we don't blame you. It can be a bit daunting talking to a blank screen trying to convince it to hire you. It's almost like flirting with a brick wall. But we have a few top tips you should apply when doing your video interview. Be prepared for the conventional questions to come up, like why Baker McKenzie? Why do you want to practice law? Practice doing the video interview as many times as you can. Perhaps set up a webcam and time yourself while you deliver your practice answers. Make sure you look at the webcam rather than down at the desk or the computer screen. It makes it more personal for the recruiter, shows confidence and professionalism, but also doesn't suggest to the recruiter that you're reading off your notes. Now's the time for you to really shine. If you're successful with the video interview, you'll be invited to the assessment center. The day will be a testing and will be split into 3 different sections: the group exercise, the partner interview, and your final interview. You'll start the day off with a group exercise. This exercise is designed to test your commercial awareness, practical approach to problem solving, and your ability to work in a team, especially a team of strangers. Make sure you keep up to date with current affairs, especially concerning Baker McKenzie. You'll be split up into groups and each be given a mock business scenario to read over. The task you will be given will require you to work towards set objectives. You will be assessed on the contribution you give to the group, as well as your ability to work with them. This is a testing task to master. You need to be able to contribute without sounding too bossy, but also ensure that you don't fall under the radar. Next, the first of your 2 interviews begins. The partner interview is a case study-based interview. Individually, you'll be given 30 minutes to read through a business or legal case study. Then you'll discuss the commercial and legal issues you read to 2 partners and any observations you've made. Baker McKenzie are specifically looking for people with good commercial knowledge, problem-solving skills, and the ability to discuss business scenarios confidently. They are looking for signs of intelligence, persuasiveness, quick thinking, flexibility, confidence, and a desire to learn. The desire to learn is important, as it shows that you do have the space to grow and improve in the company, becoming an integral part of their team. The second interview will take a significantly more personal approach. The interviewers will be referring to your application form. You will be asked to talk about your personal interests, your interest in the firm, and any questions you have about the firm. It may be some time since you filled in your application form by this stage, so remember to look back at what you wrote on it and update with any new information in the meantime. When answering any questions, especially competency-based questions, remember to use our favorite acronym, the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. We sometimes even add an extra R for where you reflect on your overall performance. Here's a quick recap of the STAR method. If you were asked a question about a time you found something difficult, you structure the responses as follows. I was working at the reception desk at my part-time job, and a customer came up and told me they were meeting with the boss. They do have a meeting scheduled and have provided their name, but did not have identification on them. As a receptionist, I cannot let the person go through without any ID, but they're insistent that they have an appointment. I decided to call the person they had an appointment with to come down and double-check to confirm that this was the right person. Even though it was a hassle for everyone involved, I still followed the company's policy, so I could not be at fault. Top tip, always ask a question at the end. This will show your interest in the position, as well as allow you to learn more about the firm. Ask questions like, what steps did you take to ensure you became a partner? Or what motivates you to continue working at Baker McKenzie? Don't make the questions personal, about you, or too simple. So you've completed your online application and sent off a CV. You passed both online tests and confidently delivered your video interview. At the assessment centre, you've sailed through the day, working well with your group, analysed and discussed a difficult article, then told the interviewers more about yourself and what makes you special. Best of luck to everyone applying to Baker McKenzie. Make sure you check out this link to our website in the description below. We've written a detailed step-by-step guide on how to secure an offer with Baker McKenzie. And whilst you're here, consider signing up and joining the TapIn community. Thank you for watching, guys. If you found this video on how to get into Baker McKenzie useful, hit that like button on this video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Share this video and help us on our mission to prepare 100 million young people for the world of work. We do weekly videos preparing you for internships and grad jobs, and have loads more videos on how to get vacation schemes and training contracts at law firms. Click here to check some of those out. If you have any questions, video ideas, or anything at all, let us know in the comments down below. We try to respond to all the comments we get on our videos. I've been India for TapIn, and I'll catch you next time.